I am talking to you as a leader in your life, professionally or personally, because I believe that every human being is a leader. And I want you to think of this book as a roadmap to empower you as a leader, professionally or in your business world. Imagine the world that you can create if you had more clarity, more confidence, more purpose in the choices that you make. When you are going to put your head on the pillow at night, saying to yourself, I chose well today. That is what this book is intended to do.
Everybody, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter, the podcast where we bring on amazing authors to talk about their journey as an author. And you get to meet some of the most fun people, exciting people out there in the world making a difference. And Dorice is a great example of someone, who has more energy than 300 people combined, and she's got a great team that gets her out there in the world. If you're thinking of, as an author, do I need to be on social media or YouTube or the web? I point you towards Dorice because you will see that being out there and sharing great content, building community, interacting with your listeners, your readers, is a great thing to do. And Dorice is a great example of that for you as authors. Dorice, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. Happy to have you here. Come on.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. And thank you. You know, somebody said to me, another interview said to me, Dorice, you are a soda can. And I said, what do you mean I'm a soda can? I mean, I've never heard such a thing in my life. What do you mean I'm a soda can? He says, you're like, when you open it, it goes psst, and it's like, you have this energy. And I was like, okay, I hope I'm not overflowing. I'm just, a lot, but not overflowing. And the bubbles are still amazing. So
Right. You're a can of soda that's been shaken many times and then opened. That's what you are to me. Okay.
You know what I made? So after she told me that, I went to AI and ChatGPT and I created a soda can with my name on it, Dorice, and I use it. It's going to be one of my ads to my social media, one of my posts. And you are going to get energy in a bottle.
I love it. Okay. Now, all right, let's start here.
Let's start.
Your country of origin first, where you've come from and where you are today. Let's start there. Where are you originally from, Dorice? Come on.
So originally, I am of Persian descent. My parents, born in Persia, they left Iran when Israel became a state. They met in Israel in a really fun way. They got married, and within a couple of years, I was born. So I was born in Israel to a Persian descent Jewish family, and at the age of 21, I left Israel with one suitcase, $600, no coat, and came to Portland, Oregon in the USA, where I've been residing ever since. So that's where I'm from.
Wow. Now, talk to me about positivity, because you just exude positivity. Everything I see about you and what you are in this world, where does this come from for you? Why this path? You could have chosen many paths, but why this?
Well, I did choose sometimes other paths, not about the positivity, but about just the profession and where I could show up in the world. For 30 years, I was in the education world. Okay. And working with children and teenagers and young adults and then their parents, I saw firsthand the importance of being joyful and the impact of joy in a family structure, in just the aura that you bring when somebody walked into my education building and they were positive and energetic. It made the interaction so much more pleasant. And so I saw the impact very early on. even before that, growing up in Israel, my dad worked in construction. My mom worked sometimes 3 jobs just to get the family afloat. Uh, but one thing they didn't have money, but the one thing they did have is this joy of life and zest of life. So I'm one of 5 siblings. And for us, a party is just having us, 5 siblings. Now it's with our spouses and our children. So it's like 35 people quickly, and that's not with friends or anybody else, right? It's just us. And we don't need other people to have a party, because we are the party.
Yeah,
And
you are a party, just so you know.
you haven't met my family. I'm the calm one. I'm the calm,
Wow.
But I also saw that your energy is so significant in the connections that you create because energies find other like energies to nourish together and to grow. Now, it could be that I come to a situation like a speaking engagement or speaking with an event planner, and their energy is not so high. When I leave, they feel happier, better, just because of talking to me. Now, is my life always been the best thing since sliced bread? No. I mean, the question is, how do we handle that obstacles, that challenges that come our way? It's a choice, right?
Right.
It's a choice that you have to make, that I have to make every morning when I get up. I could easily look at the world today. I could easily go into the gloom and doom and how life is not fair, not good, anti Semitism, all these things that could come up against me. Yet, I choose very consciously not to go down that road of gloom and doom and rather look and be hopeful. Not saying that hopeful is the only strategies that you use, but using hope and using optimism to move the needle forward to where you want to become. Not right now, but where you want to become. So that's always like my vision in this world, that the world is going to be an even greater place to live than right now. Always looking into the future, living in the present, but looking in the future in a way that is opening up, like crescendo, right? Opening up like this, like you're here, but life is this, and you don't know where it's going. So you move your hands forward, and that's crescendo. Some people choose to live in demiendo, right? Like this,
Yeah.
going into, and that has to do sometimes with age, sometimes with life circumstances. It's like, okay, I'm here, but as I grow older, as I progress, the options are narrowed, and now I have less and less and less. I rather not think of it. And I remember reading a book by Cynthia. Oh my gosh, I forgot her last name for just a second here. Cynthia. I have the book.
Of course you do. It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's called Cynthia Cynthia Covey. She wrote the book Live Life in Crescendo together with her father, who is passed away since.
Yeah.
And they talk about living life in crescendo. What does that mean? That's what I live my life on. That's what I think gives me the nourishment. And I find the joy even in the simple things. Going for a walk with my dog, having a sunny day, having a good meal, not expensive or anything fancy, salad, that I love, that's it. It doesn't take a lot for me to feel joy and happiness. Of course, fancy things will also help me be that, but it's not about that. It's about the day to day. I just had a conversation with my husband about it just over the weekend. I said, what are the joyful things we can do? And what I realize is that some joyful things are personal and you do it by yourself, with yourself, reading a book, watching a movie. And some other things that give you joy are things that you do with the community, that you are engaged with other human beings. And science shows that when you are engaged with other people, like what we're doing right now,
Right.
our joy increase. So why not do that more? And of course, I'm not talking even about, journal your things and having gratitude and all that. That's basic. I'm talking about communicate with other people, reach out to people you don't know. And that's really what's the thing about this book is reaching out to people that I may not speak, but they can still read my book, and reach out to them to influence them, to have an impact in their life, either professional or business or private, personal. That's what I meant.
So for those people listening, introduce us to your book. I'm at the gym. I'm on the treadmill. I'm busy with my hands. I can't really do something right now. Tell me about the book and where did the idea come from?
So first of all, I hope that you're doing a Peloton workout.
Yes.
That is a really good Peloton thing. The bike is amazing. So enjoy your ride and give a high five to somebody on the dashboard there, if you're on a bike, because that is important. Support one another.
Come on.
And as you're sweating, see, I speak from experience. I know the world. My book is called Choose to Be Your Own Champion, the 6-step playbook to become your best self. And the reason I wrote this book, this is my second book, by the way. My first book was Moments of the Heart, which was published in 2020. And that book it came out from the education world where I was working there for 30 years. And now, as I was working as a positive intelligence trainer and a motivational speaker, I've started, and COVID happened. I started to realize that how much we get paralyzed by the choices that we have to make on a daily basis. And COVID just brought it all up to the surface. What do you do? It was so many unknowns out there. Safe, not safe. Should I do this? Should I not? It was like so much. Then I got really focused on the choices that people make. Just observation of myself and others. And that became the fertile ground where I started to kind of study all these choices. And I started writing about it. Choosing to be kind, choosing to be a leader, choosing to forgive yourself, choosing to forgive others, choosing to decide, choosing authenticity, choosing joy, what we talked about. And as I was doing this, I felt like, oh my gosh, I need a framework, because just throwing out all these choices that people make, I mean, they're good, but can I take people through a process so they make good choices for themselves? And with the grace of God, I did come up with this beautiful, incredible frame, and I call it the Playbook. And it's a 6 steps based on the word choose. So I took the word choose as an acronym, CHOOSE. And each step in this journey of making the right choice explores different parts of us and the situation about the choice at hand. So we start with C for clarity.
Okay.
And we go C for clarity. And the first question is it even your choice to make? Sometimes we think some things is our choice to make, and it's not. It's not. It's somebody else. So are we butting ourselves into other people's business or situation in which we have no control, right? I mean, and all of this came from, the whole COVID thing. Like, some of it is like literally out of my control right now. So what is within my parameters that I can control? Okay, so this is one thing. And also understanding your own process of reacting to stuff. In other words, using positive intelligence modalities, the saboteurs versus the sage, because I come as a speaker, and also as a positive intelligence expert, I bring that part very upfront in the book. I said, what are your saboteurs? And in order to help the reader, I created a workbook with a QR code in the book so they can download it for complimentary for free. And then they can do the assessment for themselves. What are the saboteurs? After reading all the explanations that I have given, they can get an idea, but they still may not know exactly. the depth of their saboteurs. That's where the QR code could be super helpful for them. And then I talk about then how do we shift out of those saboteurs that sabotage our own performance, relationships, wellness, and lean into a whole different place in our brain from the limbic system to the prefrontal cortex. How do we then lean into what we call the sage? And the sage we have 5 powers. We have the sage perspective, and then we have 5 powers. All of this information I put together in the C section of the book, the clarity. It's more of the education, like the base, right? It's like when you want to build a tower, okay?
Right.
How tall it is depends on how wide and stable your base is. So that is the base that I provide in this book, under the C, under the clarity. Then we go into the second piece, H, honor your feelings. So while at the beginning we understand, thinking-wise, our brain, I say, okay, this is what's going on, we can't disregard our own feelings. And some choices may not make us feel good in life. So honoring those feelings, having that moment of self-empathy or self-love, empathy towards other people, where they are in the decisions, in the choices that we make, sometimes it is affecting other people. So having that, honoring your feeling where you are now, not putting, not shoving it down. It's just, no, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I better do this. I can disregard these feelings. We are human beings. Brené Brown said, are we thinking machines that sometimes feel, or are we a feeling machine that sometimes think?
Mm-hmm.
We are the latter. We are feeling machines. So is Brené Brown think that, by the way. So 2 of us are thinking that, and I'm sure a lot more. We are feeling machines that sometimes think. So have that space and don't get stuck there.
Right.
Often we get stuck in that. Then we avoid the situation or we are overly pleasing, or we want to control things. Our feelings get in the way of us making a better choice that would lead us into becoming our own champion.
Right.
So that's in the H section of the book.
Okay.
By the way, each section has different choosings. And then at the end of each choosing, there is move a forward moment where I give literally like exercise about what to do next, how to cultivate that choosing that I just described in the previous entry.
Okay.
And all of that will be connected to a 100-page workbook that they can download and literally create a workbook. So the questions are in the book, but they're also with some additional things in the workbook. And in the workbook, I added, different YouTube links with QR codes for meditation with me, because while I am very high energy and very, I can also command my brain to calm down so that I will continue to have this energy. Right. Because you can't perform 24/7 on high. You need to know when to bring it in. And I think, thank God for positive intelligence for teaching me these beautiful ways of monitoring me. And by the way, the energy that you put out, that anybody put out, you can actually see it and feel it in the quantum field 6 feet out of your own body. Okay? I don't know if listeners are into Joe Dispenza and all of his work and all of his articles and books, we have a quantum field of energy around us. So, and most of us think that we can leave our energy at home when we get to the office and we're going to pretend. Guess what? The energy field doesn't lie. People feel your energy. And they know if you are faking it, if you're real about it, and it's a signal. But some people don't understand that. So I explain that in the book. So anyway, so that's the H. And then we go to the third step in this framework. Did you need a break? Do you need a break, or you
I
need
am
that?
right with you. You're great. You are a great leader through all of these. I love it. And I know people are listening. The big thing I want to make people remember, if you're like, wow, this is a lot of information, there's a book and a workbook that goes with our conversation today, just so you understand. That's why we're all here.
That's right.
Take us
That's
to the
right.
next one. Let's go.
Yes. Don't feel overwhelmed, right? Because overwhelming is allowing your brain to go into that lizard brain that we have. It's like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I can't take a few breaths, because I've been working on this book for 5 years. So no wonder that I am not under pressure anymore about this book because I digest it several times.
Yeah.
So to the next step.
Yeah.
The O, openness to options. That's what it stands for. Sometimes we think that there's a choice that come our way. It's either A or B. But David, sometimes it's C or D or E.
Yeah.
And we think, oh, it's either black or white. No. Being open to options means that you play the innovate game here. You are going to do the yes and game, and I show it in the exercise in the book. Yeah. How do you actually move? And what are the different choosing that requires you to see things differently? Like sometimes just choosing to see. What we see, according to science, is that we don't see 97% of what is in our area. We don't. We don't see all the colors. We don't see all the things. And in Hebrew, which I put a little bit of Hebrew in the book, the word world, olam, actually comes from the word hidden, ne'elam. So most of what we see as the world is actually hidden from our own human eyes. So in that, what do you choose to see? What do you choose to see? Because we can choose, if I wanted to choose negativity and hatred and bad things and just being not a positive individual, I could become that. You become what you see and what you tell yourself that you are.
Right.
Right? So in that openness, you really open your mind without judgment, because one of the saboteurs that we all have, David, and me included, is the judge saboteur. We judge ourselves. We judge other people. It could be that somebody right now listening to us will be judging. And they don't even notice that they're judging. That's the thing. And sometimes they could judge favorably, but it's still judgment. Yes, judging favorably is still judgment. Just like gossiping, if I tell you about somebody, and even if it's a good thing, I still gossip. Right. It's still gossip, which is another part of in my book about gossip and choosing to guard your tongue. That's a whole thing in my book, because I think that's, I've been talking about it in the education world for 30 years. So much damage happening when we use our tongue in the wrong ways, and say things that are, even if they're true, they're harmful.
Yeah.
And so I get into that in the book. But anyway, so that's the openness to option. And then the second one, the second O, the fourth step, right? Clarity, honor your feelings, openness to options. And now the second O is oneness with yourself. It's one of my favorites. It is my favorite. Being in one with yourself, because so many times people don't pay attention to this knot in their stomach, even if they have to make a choice, and they shove it down. Again, they put the lid on it thinking it will go away, but it never does. If there is something that is not equilibrium in your body, it comes out. Right? If we are not in complete coherence between our brain and our heart and our gut, when some things are not aligned, it shows up in different ways, not well. So how do we become one? And in the book throughout, I share some Hebrew nuggets of words that could really highlight. So for example, being a native Hebrew speaker, so for example, the word peace is shalom. Many people, even not Jewish people, know the word shalom for being in peace. The word shlemut, same root, same three letters, means wholesome. How are you becoming a whole person? By having peace. because it's the underlying connection. It's something that doesn't happen in the English language because the Hebrew language is a root-based language. The English is not. So when a root-based language like Hebrew appears and there's two words that have the same root, that means that there's an underlying connection between them.
Interesting.
And oh,
Yeah.
it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And the more I study the Hebrew language, not as a speaker, but as a researcher, the more I'm thinking, my God, literally, God created an amazing language. Because unlike Hebrew, unlike English, English is a language of accord where people are coming together and they decided way back then, this is how we're going to speak that language. This is what the verb is going to be. This is what the subject.
Yeah.
Hebrew is known as language of essence. That means there is no author to the language of Hebrew. It's given by outside source, and we call it God, right? Whoever you call it, it doesn't really matter. The point is that there's no authorship on this. So you say, wow, if there is no authorship over a language, and yet there is so many connection with the words that mean things to us, is there something underneath here that we need to pay attention to? And, I'll give you a simple example that I didn't even mention in this book, but it just popped to my mind literally right now as I'm talking to you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
The word ear in Hebrew is ozen. Okay, ozen. The word for balance is izun. Same three letters, just change vowels. So what does that mean? That in the ear is
Right.
the balance. Now, when in the scientific world did they found out that the balance, i.e. vertigo, happened in our ear? Do you know when they found out?
No.
In the 19th century.
Really?
Yes. Yes. And in Hebrew, we knew it. Yes, Google it yourself. In the Hebrew, yeah. When did they realize that it's right here in the ear? Recently, in the last, 200 years.
Yeah.
When did Hebrew discuss it? Way back when the Hebrew language was formulated.
Wow.
I know. Freaking amazing. That's all I can say about that. Yes. So that was the O.
Yeah.
Now we're moving into the S.
Yeah.
And the S means strategize your success. Strategize. So often we come into a choice, but we didn't maybe bring anybody else with us. Maybe we do need to bring people with us when we make a choice. Like when I left my job after 30 years in the education world, I needed to have my husband with me on board. I needed to have a strategy of like, what do I do next? Right? And when I left, when I was thinking about leaving, I knew nothing about what I actually want to do and how it's going to be. Actually, no, I'm taking it back. I knew what I wanted to do. I did not know the first thing of how I'm going to get it done. You mentioned YouTube and I'm all over social media. Did you think that in 2018, July 1st, I knew the first thing about being a social media guru? Nothing.
No.
Nothing. I still don't know as much. I just know who to hire,
Right.
But I did not know back then anything, right? I didn't have my first book out yet. I had it as a manuscript. I didn't have a website. I just had one sentence in my mind. And my sentence was, I wanted the world to be my classroom and my stage. That's all. That's the
Nice.
word. That's the sentence I had. Living. Why? Because I was the education director in a synagogue for 16 years in that particular synagogue. And now I want the world. I don't want people to come to me. I want to come to them.
Nice.
And that's how I met you, by the way, because I was looking for places where I could spread the message about my book, the message about me, what I do. It was me reaching out to you. You did not find me. I mean, once you knew about me,
Oh.
I popped up everywhere,
Yeah.
but you did not know about me.
Yeah.
So that's the S. Strategize. The last part is it's the cherry on the top, and it is the necessary ingredient without which nothing matters. And that's the E stands for enactment. What are you going to do? You chose something. What are you going to do with that choice that you made? A lot of the time, people say, oh, I chose whatever it is, but I haven't done anything about it. Why? Because I'm waiting for this to happen and for that to do this and for this to do this and all this other stuff. And they've not moved forward.
Right.
And so what is holding them back? So in the enactment is like, okay, if you didn't make a timeline, this is the time to do that. What is the first step that you can take? What is the second step that you can take? What is, and then the more advanced you are, the more 90-day plan or whatever that is, right? But and in that section, in the book, I talk about resilience, because resilience helps you move forward. And that's where my expertise, if I narrow it down, like positive intelligence, leadership, and, culture, but then it's like, how are you going to be resilient so that you accomplish those things above, and then it always starts with the self. Always.
Nice.
And then it moves greater and greater and greater. And all of that is in the book. Yeah. So I just gave you.
It's great. It's good. Now, okay, for someone listening, and they're listening to our conversation, Dorice, and they're like, 6 things seem to be a lot for me as someone new to your content and to the playbook. Do you want us to follow it in order as it's written, or is there a path to start? Like, where would you send somebody out of those 6? What's my starting point?
Okay, David, that is an excellent question. And I wrote in my book, I mean, I can't wait to read it to you when I have it in my hands, because I don't have the book in my hand yet. It's going to be sent to me, God willing, in the next month.
Nice.
But here is what it is. You don't have to. Sometimes you feel that you need to stay in a particular step longer. And that is okay. Sometimes you go through very quickly through 4 of the steps, and then you are stuck with feeling oneness. Stay there. Stay there to make sure that you work this through yourself. If you don't have clarity about your self-awareness, about your saboteurs, stay there for 6 months. Study you. Because if you do not study you, how would you make the right choice that would align with your values and your purpose and your mission of why God has brought you to this world at this time? Mm-hmm. Because I do believe that all of us are here for a reason. Right. And throughout our lives, we discover what is our gift that we were given to bestow on others. And that's in the spirit of service, right? Mm-hmm. So I know when I came from Israel, when I was growing up in Israel, even, my parents, I told you my parents work in construction. My parents didn't have much money. I used to tutor kids. I was like in 8th grade, tutor kids for 5th grade to make some extra money. Later on in 9th grade, I cleaned houses and stuff. But I always was working or doing something that I could do that will help somebody else and will also benefit me in some ways, right? So when I tutor somebody, they got knowledge, I got a few cents. Oh, great, I could buy myself, a falafel on the street. Okay, nice. Stuff like that, right? So when I came here, I said, when at the age of 21, I said to myself, what will you do, Dorice? What will you do? I came from the Israeli army. I was an officer in the military. What can I do in America? I didn't have my degree. I mean, most of Americans, and you tell me if Canadians are like that, but most will go to college at 18. By 21, they're having their degree. They kind of know what they want to do in life. Here I come. I know nothing. I don't know what I want to do. And I sat with that a while, and then a voice came to me and says, Dorice, share the light that you have. And I did not know exactly what that means, but back then I remember, okay, the light that I have is the gift that I have. What are my gifts? Okay, I speak Hebrew. I love education. I love my religion. I'll teach that. You see? So it came naturally. That's how I ended up in the Jewish education world. And I end up running a school. And at certain time during running the school, like my last couple of years, I start having this nagging feeling in my heart saying, this is not it. I mean, it was it for now, but now there's something else out there for you. Right. And it took me a while. And I thought, okay, what's out there for me? And the voice came back up and said, be a light again. But this time I interpreted, be a light to other people, not only the people, the Jewish people that come to get educated by me, but to people outside of my faith, outside of my community. And that mission brought me to Dubai to speak for $1 million roundtable, to speaking in Memphis University, to speaking real estate conference or HR cruise. All of that. Or to you, or to
Oh, come
you,
up to me.
oh, to you. I come to you. I come to you. So you see, and because that's the mission that is in my mind. It's like, okay, that's what it is. Be the light. So how do you show light? You show light through joy. You show light through authenticity. You know how I talk to you? Trust me, if you listen to any of the videos and anything on the social media, this is exactly what you get. Nothing different. Right?
Yeah, right. 100%.
Yeah, this is it, me. I'm not like, oh, this face is for the stage and this face is for my friends and this face for David. No, it's too exhausting. So one face, and then I remember who I am.
Okay, now one perception I think that some readers have when
Okay.
they see something like a 6-step playbook, they look at you as the author going, well, this means that Dorice has got them all figured out. She is on the mountaintop. She's experienced all these things. She's conquered these 6 steps. She has no weaknesses here. But
I want
I know
my
we're all
husband to think that. I want my
right?
husband to think that, yes.
We're
My
all
husband-
human beings. We're all on a journey. And even with a 6-step playbook, my question to you in this moment, Dorice, out of the 6, is there one that is kind of the one that you're focused on, that you're trying to develop? Think of a muscle that's not as strong as it could be. Out of the 6, which is the one that you work on the most for yourself personally?
Excellent choice. And I'll tell you, completely honest, my weakest link for myself is to honor the feelings. And not only my feelings, but sometimes the feeling of other people.
Okay.
So, in other words, sometimes I will not be as empathetic as I should be. And I knew that in the last few years as a coaching. It's because sometimes will be a coaching client and they will tell me about a problem, a challenge, and so, and I will find myself saying to myself in my head, why are they not like getting it? I will have less empathy. And I noticed that even more with a girlfriend that was calling me and I was not coaching her or anything. And she was telling me about stuff. And I said, come on, chop, chop, stop feeling bad for yourself. Da, 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 da. Why? Because my strength is the enactment. I am an action person. And I always was proud of that. And that's part of my upbringing and all that, and my being an officer in the army and all of my life, right? It's action. Action counts. Sometimes I don't stay enough in the feelings of it and understanding, especially the feeling of others and being empathetic toward other people. So yes, 100%. Sometimes I talk to my husband. My husband would tell me, Dorice, you're being very judgmental right now. And I'm like, really? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah. But so none of us is perfect. Yet we all have the capabilities to becoming a champion in our own right. And I'm not saying it as a cliche because I use the Hebrew language to prove it. So the word for human is Adam. The Adam from the Bible, no clothes, kind of Garden of Eden situation. Okay. So the word Adam literally means a human, Adam. And it's built of 2 syllables, A and Dam. A encompasses the spirit within a human being. That A is the letter Aleph, Alpha, A. That letter Aleph, the name of it, Aleph, with changed vowels, is Aluf, which means a champion. So what does that mean?
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So which means that you have a human, and Adam has within themselves the capabilities to become a champion.
Wow.
And I believe it so deeply that even before I wrote this book, in 2020, when I created my website, the logo on my website, there's the letter Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet, not even knowing that this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay? Isn't that crazy? And underneath it, I wrote, find your champion within. Not even having this book, even in the radar. Okay? Not the name, not anything, but I knew it in my heart, in my gut, that this should be my logo and this should be. So you can actually share it with, the picture. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
So that gold letter, and it says my name, and underneath it says, find your champion within. This is it. This is it. Mic
Wow.
drop, right? Mic
Wow.
drop. I know.
Wow. I don't even know how to rebound from that. I like that. That's amazing.
And I know.
Talk about a path already. You think you're creating your path, but the path has been created for you. You just need to be responsive to it. Follow the path. Right.
Follow the path. Yes. Yes. And so many times we have that path and we resist it and we think, oh, that's not the path. This is the path. And again, I'm a God believer person. But if some of your authors are not, then think of it as like the universe. Think of it as karma. Think of it as nature. Something there is bringing you to a place. Pay attention where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Just pay attention. It's interesting that the word pay attention, you see, here you go. You start me with the Hebrew and then I go. The word pay attention, it means in Hebrew, it's tzumet lev. Put attention on your heart. That's what actually pay attention means. Okay? Pay attention. Put your hand on your heart. Put your heart attention. And that's the heart piece. So are you complete in your heart? Where is this? Where is this? And that's part of being coherent, right? Because if your heart sends messages of confusion and you can't do it, and hesitation and lack of confidence and all these things, it sends messages to the brain that this person is unsure, that this person is not ready. So then what if there is no coherence? Then the universe doesn't work to get you what you want. So bringing both of those things. And I love the heart. And again, without knowing all of these things that I know now about the heart, I wrote my first book, Moments of the Heart, not even thinking about any of this, not understanding this, but knowing that you have to be wholeheartedly involved in your own life, in your own relationship. So
Yeah. It's beautiful. I love how all these things fit together so intricately and so they just perfect fit. Right?
I know. Crazy, but is. and then you go through it by saying, I'm going to be positive and I'm going to be loving it because life is bringing me good things if my eyes only open and I accept it. And even the challenges, I get challenged all the time. All the time. David, in my life, it's challenge, if I have a speaking engagement and then somehow it's canceled, or if I get an interest and then it doesn't work out because their boards decided to go with another speakers. There's so many things that could bring me down. So many things. And to tell you the truth, sometimes I am a little bit upset and disappointed and like, oh God, why is that happening to me? And then I pick myself up because how much do you want to sit there and cry, oh me, oh my life is so bad, da da da. Like why? What would be the result? Life will be then good if I do that? Because if you tell me, I'll do it. Okay.
Right.
You tell me that life will be great if I sit and cry and say to myself, oh me, oh my life is horrible. But knowing the reality, studying all the things that I study, I know that the more you're negative about your own self, the more negative things coming to you. That's it.
Yeah.
So not willing to engage.
Okay. I like it. Dorice, I want to wrap up with a question here. at the end. But before we do that, we'll have a link to your website in the show notes. But for people listening, they're busy, they're active, they're doing something. Tell us about the website. There's so much information here. There's so many things to click on. I'm just having fun playing on your website. It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
The intent of the website for a new person coming to you, where do we go on your site? How do we stay in touch with you? And then I want to wrap up with a question at the end.
Okay. So the first thing I would say, there's a pop-up to be part of my mailing list.
Yeah.
Sign in. Just you'll get every Monday. You get a Monday Moments with Dorice. There is like 4 steps about a concept. Like today, this morning, Monday, it was about cultivating gratitude. So I talk about it in 4 stages. I talk about thinking it, feeling it, acting on it, and feeling it, and one more aspect of my
Sign
brain.
up and you'll get it. Sign up and you'll get it.
Sign up and you'll get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Think it, feel it, act on it, and what is wrong with me? I cannot remember. We'll need to figure this out because
You should sign up for that newsletter.
I should
Dorice.
sign up for this
You
myself.
should sign up.
Here, hold on a second. Okay, now, believe it. The first
there
step
you
is
go.
believing.
Believe, yes.
Believing, and then thinking, and then feeling, and then acting on it. I went right into the thinking. It's belief before. Okay, so believing. So you get that, and then you get news about my pre-launch of my book and the pre-launch party, and if you want to get an ebook, and how do you reserve your spot on Barnes and Noble wish list and stuff like that, and that's the first thing. And then if you are an event planner, if you do something and you say, oh my God, I need a speaker in Dorice's caliber, go to the speaking tab. Okay. If you are interested in a workshop with me or in a coaching, go there. If you just want to shop, go to the shopping. There's a lot of things that are happening in there. And you can always by being on the email list, you always get information about me and from me. And I sometimes I do a group coaching, sometimes I just don't. It's a lot of it. I would say 90% of my email is of service, not of sales. 90% is sharing knowledge, sharing information, sharing inspiration, sharing fun videos of me talking and doing things and whatever. Yeah. So that's it. And always my main goal in life is in professional life, that is to be a speaker and spread that positivity across the globe. So if you or anybody you know is looking for a speaker,
Right.
reach out.
Yeah. And there's a freebie tab, everybody.
That's
if
right.
you want some freebies, because who doesn't want a freebie?
And you know
There's
what?
some challenges there, right? All kinds of good stuff.
And I'm going to send you a freebie, which is a game which has to do with choosing, and each step is the clarity, and each step is the honor. And I will actually send you a PDF with this free to give to anybody who's listening to your podcast as a thank you from me to you.
Come on. See what I'm saying, everyone? Dorice is the real thing. I like it. Okay, so Dorice, as we wrap up, I want you to imagine and picture, as you answer this question as we wrap up, your ideal reader, the person you're longing to reach out to. You want to give them the closing message, your love letter to a reader of the new book, to all that you do in this world to make this world better. You've been called to do this and help people, and you're doing a great job. But you have time with someone new in your community, first time meeting you, first time hearing about your books, and your love letter to them. I'm going to get out of the way. Talk to them as if they're right here in front of you. What do you want them to know about you and about what's going to happen as a result of getting your new book?
Okay. So I am talking to you as a leader in your life, professionally or personally, because I believe that every human being is a leader. And I want you to think of this book as a roadmap to empower you as a leader, professionally or in your business world. Imagine the world that you can create if you had more clarity, more confidence, more purpose in the choices that you make. When you are going to put your head on the pillow at night, saying to yourself, I chose well today. That is what this book is intended to do. It's intended to shine a light onto the choices that will bring you to be the champion in your own life, in a place where you will be surrounded with self-love, but also appreciation and gratitude for the world that is around you. And when you do that, when you are in that place, then your energy and your persona and your personality is going to shine far out of you into everybody else that you touch. And that's when you become a leader, not to one, yourself, but to many other people. That is my hope, that the person who's reading it is understanding the importance of how they make decisions and making choices that benefits themselves and the entire universe. And when we create that, we create a wave of more light, because when you choose well, you become more lit, right? More light in your own life and in the life of others. And so don't be afraid to choose well and to also change, because every time we choose something, we change a little bit of us. So don't be afraid of change. Change is good.
I love it. Dorice, thank you for being out there in the world, encouraging people, being obedient to the message that you've been given. You could be talking about anything, but you're on the right path. You're helping people. And I'm honored to have you on the show. And I've learned so much from you, and it's just the beginning. When is the book available to us at the time of recording? When are we going to be able to get our hands on this?
So you can already now go to Barnes and Nobles and pre-order the book. As a matter of fact, if 300 people pre-order the book before it comes on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, it will be in every mortar building of Barnes and Noble. So I will encourage all of your listeners, because so many Canadians, please go on Barnes and Noble and pre-order the book there. And here's the thing: if you pre-order the book there and you send me somehow an email with your receipt that you pre-order it, I will send you a complimentary ebook. So you will have it between now and when you're going to actually get the book, because the get the book is October 14. I will send you an ebook in June. If you pre-order your book on Barnes & Noble, that will help me get to the bestseller list. That will help me be in every single store of Barnes & Noble in the U.S. and outside of it. And there's going to be 700 stores that are open with Barnes & Noble. I would love to be in that place. Thank you.
So all of us can make that happen. So there we go.
Thank you. All of us can. Yeah, if 300 people of your amazing listeners will do that and send me an email with a picture that they did it, I'm sending them an ebook.
There you go. And remember, everybody, when you buy a book, when you buy Dorice's book, leave a detailed review. Tell people why you love this book so much. Give really concrete, really good reasons why, so that other people new to the community will see the book and go, oh, this is the right book for me. So leave a detailed review when you buy both the Dorice's books, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Gratitude.
Everyone, all the information for Dorice in the show notes, as always. Dorice, thank you for bringing your light to the podcast and for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your heart with us. I think we all have a choice to make, and we're going to choose wisely, right?
Yes.
Going to make good choices by supporting you as an author as well. Thank you, Dorice.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there as well. We're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.